Now, to illustrate, I and many others were involved in a 10-year campaign, and these can be long campaigns, from 1987-98, or 1987-88 to 1997-98, to get budget balancing higher on the national and provincial agendas, and to raise public support for budget balancing measures like spending constraints, debt reduction, tax reduction measures. Now, you may or may not agree with that position, but back in the late 1980s, all the governments of Canada were running these huge deficits, running up a debt, mortgaging our future. And the politicians did not believe you could get elected by promising to save taxpayers' dollars. The conventional wisdom, you got elected by promising to spend taxpayers' dollars. So it fed the deficit and the debt. And there was a bunch of people. It started with, in my view, with 5 people in Calgary who got together in a room and said, we are going to make budget balancing an issue for every confounded government in the country, from municipal to provincial to federal. But they can't ignore it. And so outfits like the Fraser Institute, C.D. Howe Institute, that did all the research on why you had to do this. Groups were formed, interest groups like the Canadian Taxpayers Federation, a whole bunch of groups, Axe the Tax groups on the GST were formed to push this. We formed a political party, which was just part of it. But by golly, after 10 years, there's not a single government, provincially or federally and municipally, that doesn't at least nominally profess to be committed to balancing the budget. The federal budget was finally balanced in 1997-98 after running deficits for 25 years. Now, that's what an issue campaign is about. And the key to success in issue campaigns include today organizing broad-based coalitions of interest groups to conduct the campaign. The political parties don't do these issue campaigns anymore. The contemporary political party wants somebody else to do that, and then they'll follow if the public opinion gets up. They're very reluctant. So these things have to be done by not by political parties. In fact, they're better done by coalitions of interest groups. And these coalitions are groups that will not agree on 49 things. They're groups that agree to come together on 5 or 6 things. We just got to agree to disagree on a bunch of things. But we're going to agree on 5 or 6 things and work together, which are the items on your sustainability roadmap. And the second dimension of these issue campaigns that is vitally important, and I hope that if there's one thing I convey to you today, it's this, that these campaigns are basically communications campaigns, and they have to be able to put their messages in the politically communicable form. You want a legislative committee or a caucus or cabinet minister to accept and champion sustainability or the roadmap. When you make a presentation to those people, if they cannot see within about 90 seconds how to communicate the position you're trying to take to the public through the media, that position or that report is in trouble no matter how good its logic or its ethics or its morality or its constitutionality is. Because if I was Jim Prentice, the Federal Minister of the Environment, standing up here and listened to all your proposals for sustainability and the roadmap, I'm sitting here thinking, but when I step outside this room and that CBC lady or that CTV fellow sticks his camera in my face, can I explain what they just asked me to say to the public through that media? If I feel comfortable that I can, yes, this is communicable, then I will listen and study all the rest of what you got to say. If I can't see that, if you haven't put your messages in their politically communicable form, I can't see that, then there'll be a hesitancy to commit. And so the vitally important aspect of these communications and these campaigns is to get messages in their politically communicable form. That's why I tried to take this concept that's discussed in the report in a number of pages on measurement, the whole measurement definition, monitoring thing, and try to boil it down into the national ecological accounts. You see what I'm doing. I'm just creating a tip of the iceberg, so that then the media person say, well, what's the national ecological account? Well, that's defining and measuring the environmental impact. You see how you get into the subject, but you got to have that tip. And it's an unfortunate consequence of the age in which we live, the 10-second, 15-second soundbite, the Twitter universe. But if you can master that, you've got an entree to, particularly to political people and to media people. So when you get your sustainability goal refined and the roadmap to sustainability sketched out, why not consider the organization of national or provincial issue campaigns to balance the ecological budget? That's how I would put it. We've got to live within our means. That was the old fiscal thing, balance the budgets. How do we balance the ecological budget? Okay, so in summary then, the ultimate goal is sustainable community on the northern half of the North American continent. The means to the goal, a roadmap to sustainability for Canada. Key items to include on the roadmap: national ecological accounts, the Ecological and Biodiversity Survey of Canada, harnessing of science and technology to the goal of sustainability, conducting of EEELS assessments, recognition and encouragement of religiously motivated environmental stewardship, experimentation with one-window ecosystem-based regulation, and issue campaigns which harness grassroots political energy and resources to the goal of sustainability. That's my 30-second. Any of the next generation, which is why I'm optimistic that a roadmap to national sustainability will be followed, because many of Canada's future voters and leaders are already on that road. Thank you very much for the chance to talk to you.